All right, let's bring in Sean Fazende from Houston NRG Stadium. Sean, simply put, Saints' inconsistencies continue with this football team.
Yeah, you can certainly feel it here today, Juan, because they left that game feeling like missed opportunity after missed opportunity after missed opportunity, self-inflicted wounds, just sloppy mistakes has led to them being, 3-3 when they feel like they should obviously be better than that. Today, all three phases contributed because they had opportunities here to win this game and they didn't take advantage. And you could tell by talking to them today, they were very frustrated with this loss.
Sean, let's think about New England last week. 3 for 3 in the red zone. Everyone's happy about that. It seems like it's ticking up, trending up. Today, lack of red zone success again. 0 for 3 down there. It's like they had no answers. Dennis Allen said it was execution after the game. What are you saying?
First off, Juan, it can't be this difficult to score inside the 20. It just simply can't be this difficult when you talk about getting inside the 20, finishing drives, getting touchdowns instead of field goals. Instead, they settled for a couple of field goals, didn't even get all the field goals that they were hoping to get in that situation. So, look, whether it's execution, whether it's play calling, whether it's something mental right now, this team is not going to do anything until they figure out red zone offense. And really, if you're an offense, that should be where you shine the most inside the 20 because that's where you're able to finish drives and score points, which is what obviously you're paid to do. But this has gone on for far too long to admit there's not a problem. This is a definite problem within this team that absolutely must be addressed.
And I found it interesting that Dennis Allen wanted to say basically it's execution, that guys have to run the plays that are called and run them better and get open. But, Sean, I'm thinking about that last drive of the game, 4 straight plays that looked like go routes, same play, just opposite sides. The offense lacked imagination once again. Would you agree?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Well, here, first off, Juan, I would say this. Offensively, they were able to move the ball, which is perhaps why this one was a little more frustrating because, Derek Carr had his season high in passing yards. They had over 400 yards of total offense. They were able to move the ball consistently with chunk plays and middle of the field plays, and even when they were running shorter plays, getting run after catch. But all of a sudden, they would get bogged down as they get closer and closer to the end zone. As for the actual sequence you're talking about, they got to about the 24 or 25-yard line, and it still had plenty of time left, and they could have used the middle of the field, could have, went short, went, medium, whatever the case may be, and went 4 straight deep throws. That was just a really poor lack of execution. And in that situation, I'm not sure who's calling the routes out, what they're supposed to do, but it just felt like a promising drive went out of whack, really for no reason, in a very crucial part of the game.
And it looked like they made 4 plays about the same, deep balls to the corner, opposite sides, but they had a timeout left over. The middle was wide open to maybe do something different, and there was no variety, which is, I think, what has Saints fans irate on Twitter right now because it feels like the offense is not taking any steps forward. And I know that Pete Carmichael took the blame for it before the New England game, said it's my fault, got to get it fixed. What else can he do to get this offense back on track?
Well, like I said earlier, Juan, today there were a few new wrinkles, and it worked. You saw the end around. You saw the reverse earlier in the game. They had a couple deep shots down the field. They used the middle of the field. They used motion, which is what everyone's kind of been harping on. And they were effectively able to move the ball the majority of the game, but then they got bogged down inside the 20. And like they said, if they had the answer, they would fix it at this point. But at some point, you got to make some kind of change or some kind of different level of execution when you get inside the 20-yard line because you're going to lose more games. This was a very winnable game here today, and had they finished drives inside the 20, they probably would have left Houston here with a win. Let's
talk about the offensive line because it's been a subject of concern all season long, particularly on the left side where Trevor Penning has been. He didn't start today in favor of James Hurst. He goes out early injured. Then Ryan Ramczyk has an issue late in the game. He goes out as well. But on Trevor Penning, not a very good showing for a guy that was asked to sit and watch and then brought in hoping to play well and didn't play well at all.
Yeah, he didn't seem to be in a good place mentally. Obviously, the week he got benched, and obviously they moved James Hurst out to the left, and they put it was actually Max Garcia at left guard today. With Andrews Pete was the emergency guy, and when he got thrust into the game, it was almost like oh no type situation where I got to go in the game now, and he didn't play particularly well. And look, the first 5 games of the season before he got benched, he was a little up and down. I felt like he played fairly well the last couple of games, but obviously the Saints decided to go in this direction, and then he got thrust back into the lineup. We'll see if he stays in the lineup, but he's got to be ready when his number is called. His number was called today, and he didn't play particularly well.
Right about that. Let's talk defensively speaking, Sean. This team really sleepwalked in the first half on that side of the ball. Why do you think that was?
That's a great question. Really felt like after that interception fumble that they were just thrown out of whack, and obviously they were getting pushed around up front. Their gap integrity was bad. They were getting fooled off play action. They were getting beat in the secondary. C.J. Stroud is a very poised quarterback. He was just thrown to the open guy. There were just a lot of open guys, and they were able to run the ball effectively, which was strange because, Juan, the Texans didn't really have much of a running game to speak of coming into this game. It wasn't like they were gashing teams, but lo and behold, they were able to do that up front to the Saints in the first half, which, it caught the Saints a little bit. Let's be honest here, because they gave up some points early on that made a difference in this game.
Zach Bond's interception and then fumble, a big play because they finally get that turnover, which was the first interception that C.J. Stroud had thrown all year long. But then the fumble it back. At the time it happened, you're thinking, okay, there's a lot of football left in this game. It may not be that big of a deal, but it feels like it was a really big deal in terms of the emotional state of that defense after that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And it kind of gave C.J. Stroud a lifeline a little bit, because that's really the first mistake he had made throughout the entire season. When you talk about no interceptions thrown, he throws the interception. And if you're Zach Bond, you got to get out. You can't fumble in that situation. You just can't do that, because you go from really, really high to really, really low. It kind of deflated the defense. They were back out on the field, and that was the first of 3 straight scoring drives for the Texans. They were never the same after that, at least until the first half. The Saints defense I'm talking about. But you get a big play, you turn it right back over. It gave C.J. Stroud a chance, almost like a redo after a huge mistake in the game that really could have set the Saints up for more points. It didn't happen, and again, you just got to focus. And that seems to be a theme with this team. They lose sight of details at certain times. I mean, I know a linebacker doesn't have a chance to catch the ball often, especially a guy like Zach Bond who doesn't see the field very much, but you can't fumble in that situation. That's just tough for your defense.
And finally, Sean, play average football, get average results. Is this an average football team that's going to be up and down all year long? It really feels like it's going to be a roller coaster season.
Well, you run out of chances to say we're getting there. We're getting there. I mean, you're 6 weeks in now. 18-week season? So you're a third of the season done. So you're midway through the second quarter. However you want to break it down. So you're getting closer to becoming who you are, and who they've been through 6 weeks is a team that's, can play good defense, can play offense at times. Special team seems to be up and down, but all that adds up to an inconsistent team. And when you're inconsistent, you're usually 3-3 at the end of 6 weeks.
Okay, Saints come back to New Orleans, still haven't beaten the Texans on their home field. Sean Fazende in Houston for us. Sean, thanks very much. Appreciate it.